I just hope I remember. All right, audio in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. I literally we had such a freaking chore trying to get the audio and everything fixed from the last episode that I finally relaxed. I'm like, oh, we did it. It's working. And then you said go, and I forgot to introduce the episode.
Yeah, good job.
Like spaced out for a second. Welcome, Mondo, to episode 95.
95.
And I would like to start it with kind of an infrequent segment that we have, or if you will, an irregular segment.
Oh,
that I call Adventures in Pooping.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Mondo, you get it? An irregular segment?
Uh-huh.
It's irregular?
Yeah.
You landed? Okay.
You've had quite a few tales of you having to take random scary shits.
Yeah, well, on this one, this tale, if you will, is probably the least funny of all of them.
Oh, no.
But definitely the most scary.
Oh.
And as a few of the other ones, this starts with me going for a hike. So earlier this week, I've been really busy. And I'm like, fuck, I got to get out. I have to go exercise. So I've taken to doing night hikes where, I'll start the hike at like 7:30 and try to get to the top of whatever I'm climbing by sunset so I can see a cool sunset. And then I'm usually descending in the darkness. And this night hike was extra special because I had scheduled a phone call with your pledge brother, my Lancer brother, Mr. Zach Steckline.
Oh.
So
you scheduled a phone call?
Yeah.
Like an interview?
No, you know what? We can talk about some of this stuff maybe towards the end of the episode, but I'm just trying to make some major life decisions. Zach decided to move away from like a huge metropolitan area to a little bit more
middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a town. There's like a Target and a Walmart. We talked about it. I got the whole gist and the lay of the land. I mean, the way he was describing it was definitely more suburban. Like you could see your neighbor's house. You know what I mean? There's levels to the middle of the fuck nowhere. Is what I'm saying. But I thought, great, kill two birds with one stone. I'll get to talk with old Zach. Hopefully, hear some words of wisdom and insight. Fingers crossed. And then I'll get a little bit of a workout in, right?
Uh-huh.
So right now, you might be wondering, Mondo, did I have to take a shit while I was on the phone with Zach?
I was actually wondering that, too.
No. That's not what happened. The other thing you might be wondering was, wait, hold on. Does talking to Zach make you have to take a shit? Is he like a laxative, a Zaxlative, if you will?
I don't know.
I've
talked to him hundreds of times and I've never felt compelled. Like, oh, let me stop the conversation, Aaron or Zach. I need to take a shit.
Maybe living in middle of nowhere, Washington, changes you. You get superpowers, and to be fair, I think that would be pretty cool, right? Like if he had that power, I mean, I would probably call him a lot more often.
Kind of like the rumor, but instead of like you like believing the whatever, but you just gotta take a shit.
Exactly. And it might be a little bit rough on him because he would never really know. It's like, hey, dude, are you calling me because you actually want to talk to me, or are you just backed up? And I'd be like, Zach, it can be both.
Zach Steckline, the colon whisperer.
It can be both, Zach. But that's not what happened either. The service was actually cutting in and out because it was in the fucking mountains, but he was great. I really enjoyed talking to him. Like, shout out to Zach. Like, good conversation. Thank you, man.
What's up, Mark Lar?
And I got to the top of the mountain, and I'm like, okay, I got to go down in the dark. This is like the 50th time the phone is cut out. Probably a good time to just end it and make sure I don't lose the trail and end up in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I'm going down this mountain trail in the dark, retracing my steps, and I've got a flashlight, but it's actually kind of hard to see like what's right at your feet, if that makes sense, because the beam's going out and ahead of you. And I start to step on this like little cluster of rocks, and then the light catches. I'm like, oh, those rocks are brown.
Oh,
what the fuck? And just fortunately, I mean, was able to sort of sidestep at the last second, and I did not step in the brown rocks, which turned out to be a whole pile of shit.
A pile of shit.
A pile. This was like it looked like just a pile, like I said, of just these like thick grainy rocks, but they were brown. And
Did you do some investigating to see what kind of animal would leave such?
I mean, you got to smell it.
things?
You got to lip it. You got to lick it a little
lick
bit, right? Yeah. Are there blueberries in there? Is it?
Yeah.
You know,
Like, I taste rabbit. This is obviously a coyote or a wolf.
well. So here's the thing. I know what deer poop looks like. They're these like pellets. It was not deer poop.
Ooh.
To me, it looked the closest to horse poop, except there were two reasons I didn't think it was horse poop. One, it was not a bridle trail. You couldn't bring a horse up to the top of this fucking mountain.
Where'd you go hiking?
It's like 23 minutes like southwestish from where my house is.
Okay.
So it's just like if you're taking 285 west. I don't know if
Okay.
that helps.
Sure.
But the other reason I was really sure it wasn't horse poop was because that poop was not there when I went up the mountain.
Ooh.
And
So
I
it's
didn't.
fresh.
I hadn't seen any horses. It was fresh. If I had been a little bit bolder and stuck a pinky in there, it would have still been warm.
Dang.
And so now I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, in so many ways. Oh holy fucking shit.
So you're thinking human or bear at this point?
100% a bear.
Oh.
That was not human poop.
I don't know, dude. I've taken some raunchy shits.
That was not human poop, Mondo. I don't know if actually I took a picture of it, so I might be able to
Put it on camera.
upload that.
Put it on camera.
But no. If a human shits like that, they got problems.
Put it on camera.
So anyhow,
You're not going to show us? You're not going to show the audience?
I don't. It's not going to work very well technically. We could post it to social media if you really want.
Yes.
But
Everyone wants to see the shit you're describing.
this is the crazy part.
Okay.
Because fucking twist. You didn't see it coming. The poop in Adventures in Pooping.
Mm-hmm.
This time it wasn't mine.
It wasn't.
No. So I'm just I'm like, okay, fuck. I just have to get out of here. And I was also trying to make a fair amount of noise
Uh-huh.
on my way down.
So that you can kind of spook whatever it was that took that massive shit wouldn't want to come closer to you.
And you also want whatever it is to know you're coming.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want to happen upon and like I said, I think it was a bear, because the worst thing is if it feels startled and it goes fight or flight and it's like, oh no, we're right here, let's do this.
Yeah.
So I'm like walking down this mountain trail in the dark, like rotating my flashlight around, just babbling to myself like really loudly. If someone else had been on the trail, they would have been like, oh, there's a crazy person, cool.
You didn't have your headphones on? Because sometimes you have your headphones on. I think you miss, like, sound clues.
Exactly. So once I saw the pile of shit, headphones off.
Got it.
Yeah, that would be great for me. I don't think the bear would be able to hear the headphones. And yeah, this is where it got fucking crazy. Like 5 minutes farther down the trail, I'm babbling and I sweep my light into the forest, and all of a sudden there's this huge rustle, and it could have been a bear, maybe it was Bigfoot, maybe I finally found him.
Yeah.
But I didn't see what it was, and I wasn't like, oh, let me go into the forest and investigate. What I tried to do was use one of humans' special abilities, which is intimidation. Exactly. Well, because it's almost like an RPG. Like animals can spec into different skill trees. Like they can spec into attack, and then some goes claws, some go horns.
Okay.
And then there's some animals that go into intimidation where like they can't really fight, but for example, there's certain like frogs and lizards that are really, really brightly colored. Would you ever eat a brightly colored lizard?
I mean, I heard some of them don't taste good, but they get you high. Like it's like acid.
Well, that's the thing. Usually, if something's really brightly colored like that, it's poisonous.
Oh, so then no. My answer is no.
And animals know that too. Maybe I guess more than Mondo did. Mondo's like,
you learn something new every day. Don't lick a lime green frog or animal.
Mine was like, I'm gonna get high / go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It could be both. Just like Zach and pooping. It could be both. But humans, we can be loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, we've got really well developed vocal cords.
Mm-hmm.
And that rustle in the forest was loud enough that my vocal cords were amplified by like my balls ascending all the way up into my abdomen, like up into my throat. And I think they were acting as like an impromptu megaphone, because that shit was scary, Mondo.
Yeah.
Alone in the forest at night,
And
giant rustling after seeing poop.
I was gonna say sound carries pretty well out there too, specifically when you're alone. Like it just
Exactly. I mean, it was just a guttural ball amplified, like, just as loud as I could.
I don't think our listeners wanted it.
Well, that's why I kind of toned it down. It was louder than that in real life. You're gonna have to use your imagination. You're gonna have to pretend.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, I hear like a as like a tree. It sounded like a tree branch or something getting trampled, and something like moving away from me really fast in the forest in the opposite direction. I was like, yeah. That's right, motherfucker. Not Leonardo DiCaprio. Not doing this Revenant shit. I actually did. I think I really did say that. And I'm sure if it was a bear, it probably didn't get the reference.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. I mean, what do you think the odds that a forest bear would have seen the Revenant?
Only you can prevent forest fires. This is about the only thing I know bears know.
And you know what? They're not even great at that in Colorado.
Nope.
Fucking bears are slacking. So, at that point, yeah, I walked the rest of the way down, flashlight in my right hand, like a good like size rock in my left hand, just in case I had to chuck it at something, and I'm just walking like every like 10 seconds, just looking over my shoulder, listening. And spoiler alert, I didn't get killed. I made it. No. I just did, because I think at that point people might have been worried. They're like, "Did you get killed? Didn't you?" I didn't. I made it, guys.
You could have pulled what was that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? You could have pulled one of those.
That's what you didn't get the reference either.
Yeah.
The Revenant.
Yeah, the Revenant. That's
no, he gets like mauled and like. I don't know if he gets humped or whatever. I've just seen some of the screenshots. I'm like, no, that's not. I'm not going. Bear, just kill me, bear.
Yep.
It's just chop my head off. We don't need to go down that road. But
he doesn't want to get butt boned by a giant grizzly.
No, thank you, sir.
Well, thanks for that wonderful tale.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? Adventures in pooping can take us in all different ways and walks of life.
I was really hoping we were gonna I was hoping the finale of your tale was gonna be like, yes, Zach Steckline is the colon whisperer. Like that was like I was hoping that
that would have been a much better ending for all parties involved.
Just call Aaron call Zach every morning, like after a little bit of coffee, like, hey Zach, how are you? Good morning. Thanks, man. Just wanted to say hi. Bye. I would do that.
We've got The Revenant 2 and Zach Steckline colon whisperer. These are two movies that I think we can get in development.
Yep. I'll sign up.
But you know the movie I'd really like to see, Mondo?
What movie is that?
I'd like to see a superhero movie.
Anyway, we have a surprise for you guys watching Videoland. We're going to go to visit our favorite anti-hero / superhero, Florida Man.
Florida Man.
I highly enjoyed that.
We have to talk about that really quick. Just so for those of you guys that are just listening to the podcast and not watching the video stream of it, we added like a theme song with video and cool shit. All props to Aaron. He did it. You know, he went online and put it all together and talked some fools into doing it. And yeah, but anyway, the funny thing, my first impression on it was when we played it black, I was like, hey, Aaron, did this guy have like an accent? Like I hear like a little bit of it asking. Aaron's like, yes.
Oh, so the guy who did vocals, I believe, is in Peru. He's somewhere in South America. And then the guy who did the instrumental is in Kazakhstan.
Yes. See?
This is an international collaboration for Florida Man.
Borat would be proud. But then my next thing was like, it's the combination of like 80s hairband and the guy having like a little bit of a Latin accent. Like I couldn't put my finger on like what it sounded like to me, and 100%. It sounds like the Scorpions. Anyone that knows the Scorpions, like the guys are like from Berlin or something. They got like a European like thick accent, and when they sing in their English, you could kind of pick up that it's not their primary language. But the guy did a good job. The guys did a good job. Both the South American and the Kazakhstanian.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. But anyway, Florida Man. Moving on. Cop-hating Florida woman calls police 11,000 times in 1 year to bash LEOs. And it took me a second to figure out what the hell LEO is.
Law enforcement officers.
Yeah, so this Florida woman hates cops so bad she calls them 11,000 times in 1 year. Carla Jefferson's nasty calls routinely contain extreme expletives and sexual innuendo, authorities say. This is in Pinellas County, Florida. There are cop haters, and then there are extraordinarily.
You did it.
Jesus Christ. Rabid cop haters. Carla Jefferson is in the latter category, and her bitter rage has landed her in legal trouble twice in the past few months after she reportedly called police a staggering 11,000 times this year to blast and berate officers, according to reports.
Okay, so first of all, there's a lot to unpack just there.
Mm-hmm.
So one, like, what do you think her origin story is? Because something had to have happened.
Yep.
I mean, was it like she just got pulled over like one too many times? Did her dad get sent away when she was a little girl? Like she's got a true like villain origin story.
Yeah.
And I really wonder what it is. Do you have a guess?
It could be a number of things, but you know what? Like all the people that get popped for like weed that end up serving time, and some people are still locked up for weed. You know, it's like, and then now that it's legal, I'm sure those people have a vendetta grudge. It's like you locked me up for fucking smoking some shit. Like
she gets locked up for like 3 years smoking weed, and the entire time she's in there, she's just like MFing the cops,
seething,
just coming up with new insults. You bacon ass motherfucker.
Whoa.
You like she's just
bacon ass motherfucker.
She's just rolling. Yeah, you know.
That's a good one.
You pork rind cheek son of a. You know, she's just like she has like 7,000 different variations of like cops or pigs.
Yeah.
And then she's got. I mean, and she's just been storing them up. She's been writing them in a little notebook, and now she gets released and she's ready to unleash her vengeance upon the world. What happened next?
Jefferson 50 persistently dials the non-emergency lines of the St. Petersburg Police Department and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and then harasses, belittles, swears at, argues with whoever answers to greet the relentless woman, according to criminal complaint obtained by the Smoking Gun. Many cities across the county have their own versions of Carla Jefferson, but 11,000 calls in less than a year demonstrates the vile contempt she apparently has for the law enforcement profession. Although such statistics are not kept, Jefferson criminal behavior might be record-setting. She reportedly placed 512 calls to the St. Petersburg Police Department over a single 24-hour period last month, according to the criminal complaint. That's a little 500 calls in one day.
Like she has to be calling, just saying like "F you" and then hanging up. Like, Mondo, pretend you're the cop. Ready?
Ring, ring, ring. Hello?
You motherfucking honky. Click.
Jesus.
And then she dials right back. Bring.
Pinellas County Sheriff's Department.
I hate you motherfuckers. You're the dumbest.
Ma'am, what?
No, don't you hang up. Don't you hang up. I'm the one who hangs up. Bang. It's like she has her own Walter White moment.
Yeah.
Where she's like, you know, because what was the line where he's like, I am the danger. I'm the one who knocks. She's like, you do not hang up on me. I am the one who hangs up. Click.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just keeps calling them back. That, honestly, that's almost like psychological warfare.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's going in.
Like something really, yeah, you're right. The origin story can't be weed. It has to be something pretty bad. Like where she feels like she's in the right almost, you know?
Yeah, and you know what, Mondo? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I feel like there's a really bad origin story. She feels like that she's on the right, and let's add a dash and a sprinkle of mental illness in just
Sure.
to stir that pot to perfect simmering temperature.
Um, where was I? Amazingly, her annual tally works out to about 30 calls to the department each day, or 1.25 per hour. It makes you wonder when she does anything else. Jefferson's chronic annoying phone calls accounted for 10% of all phone traffic to the police department non-emergency line for the year, according to the agency.
It's hilarious.
Um,
10% of all the calls are this one woman just relentlessly going after them. Jesus.
Jefferson reportedly tells law enforcement call takers that she'll call back if they hang up. More often than not, she follows through on that promise, police said.
Like, do you think they have a special position? Like, they've hired a special person just to field all of her calls so no one else has to deal with it?
I don't know.
It's like, okay, you're going to become a police officer. You've got no skill set. We're going to pay you $40,000 a year. It's like, what am I doing? Am I a meter maid? Am I a detective? It's like, no. You're going to answer this one really angry woman's phone calls. That's it.
Police sent Jefferson a warning letter in June that her actions could lead to an arrest. However, she ignored the admonition, which led to a misdemeanor charge to which she posted $400 bail. Nevertheless, she continued to be a telephonic nuisance this week and was rearrested before being released on her own recognizance. Blah, 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 blah. According to the Smoking Gun, Jefferson has prior felony arrests and has spent several years in prison. So she just, I mean, I still want to know, like, I want to know, like, the detail of what, like, set this off. Like, I want to know for sure.
It's got to be something where she feels like she was wrongly arrested, or there was evidence planted, or like, you know, there was something that the cops did that set her up where she has become their sworn and mortal enemies.
One of these days, we're going to make it. This podcast is going to do a lot better, and we're going to actually have a production team, and then we're like, hey, producers, get this bitch on the fucking line. We want to talk to her and get her side of the story.
Oh wow, I thought you were talking about just like a Jamie, like Joe Rogan's producer, where he's like, Jamie, pull that up. No, you want someone to actually track her down.
Track her down. Get her on the phone and be like, "Hey, these two idiots from the Jenner's Clubhouse want to talk to you because they want to know. They want to hear your side of the story, the side that no one else gets to hear."
And the whole thing is just going to be bleeped. It's just
fuck you, motherfucker.
Oh, good lord!
Did I just subconsciously do a black woman voice, or was?
Well, she. I mean, she's a black woman.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's exactly what you did. I don't know if it's exactly what you did, but yeah, I think that was happening.
I'm no master of accents, sir.
But Mondo.
Yes, sir.
Let us move on to AskReddit, because there's another Florida resident who is worried about LEOs. What were LEOs? What did we learn today?
Law enforcement officers.
A different kind of LEO planting evidence.
Uh-oh.
What is AskReddit question number 1?
AskReddit question number 1. What do you think of the FBI raid on Trump?
The very short answer, I just think it's hilarious. I just think it's funny.
Let me ask you why you think it's funny.
Because I could just like picture him like stamping his feet and banging his tiny little hands into a desk. Like some people are like, yeah, he's finally getting his comeuppance. Is this that? I have no idea what any of this means. You know, the one thing that I learned about Trump from researching his previous crimes from before he was president was like they're all way dumber than you'd think. Like they're like these like little like weird like grifts and scams more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know what they were looking for. I don't know what he took. I don't know what they felt like. I just think I can picture how angry he got. Like if he had a Big Mac from McDonald's, which he's known to eat, that thing definitely got thrown against the wall. It's just kind of funny to me.
I seem to remember that, was it like right in the beginning of him being elected, that they did this whole, you know, didn't they hire some FBI guy, Mueller or something? I'm imagining this guy's name. I don't remember. But weren't they trying to go after him for some legal shit? And then they had this one guy do this whole investigation to see whether or not he did criminal shit in his past. Didn't they do that on him?
So yeah, you're getting a little bit confused about what that was all about. So yeah, during his presidential candidacy, they were in contact with the Russians quite a bit,
Right.
and the issue that had come up was had they committed any sort of like treasonous act in what they did working with the Russians,
Right.
and the guy that they hired was like a career intelligence officer, and he really didn't want to stir the pot. So they didn't make any like judgments. They're like, well, this is what we found, and a lot of people who didn't like Trump were disappointed because they're like, dude, just fucking say say the conclusion of the report, like don't pass the buck to someone else. And then people who love Trump were like, oh, see, he's innocent. They didn't say he did anything, and the Mueller, it was Mueller, but yeah, or Mueller, but I think it was Mueller report was about whether or not Trump and his campaign had committed treason.
Yeah.
And most people think it was about whether Trump had colluded with the Russians, because that was what the Trump campaign kept saying. They're like, no collusion. We didn't collude with Russia. But that's not a crime. Like, it's not. That's like, no, of course you didn't. You would not be charged with collusion with Russia because that isn't a thing. Like, you wouldn't be arrested for that. You know what I mean?
Can I just say that again, I'm not a Trump fan or whatever, but like I don't know. I think I'm down the middle as can be, and from my perspective, it seems like they're obviously after. I mean, I think this is like a way to fire him up and possibly distract him from potentially running in 2024, because I think he's announced he wants to run again, and there's all that thing. I think all this stuff is just kind of like stuff to like detract him or discourage him or to like make him focus on other shit, stress out about shit that's not, important.
Well, to be fair, it's not like out of the blue. It's not like they're just like doing shit randomly. Like the Mueller report. I mean, we don't have to speculate on any of this because during a speech, he asked the Russians to try to like this wasn't in secret, like behind closed doors. He was like, Russia, dig up dirt on Hillary Clinton, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't.
Yeah.
And I don't know if in Trump's mind he might have been like, oh, it was a joke. I was just kidding. But it's like, no, if you're like a presidential candidate, probably not a great idea to ask a foreign country.
Right, but but like that's fine. But do you think like come on, like it just seems like they're attacking him. Like it seems like they're trying to attack him. Now,
but see, this reminds me of like kids I coach where like it's like why do the RAs have it in for me? Like, why do I keep getting in trouble? It's like, well, because you keep doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, they're like, why does this happen to me? It's like, well, because you were underage and you brought like 7 boxes of wine into your room.
Yeah.
Like, and the RAs already didn't like you because you cursed them out for something else earlier. Like you keep doing shit. It's not.
All that aside, whether he keeps doing shit or not, like I think most of these fucking politicians are doing something, and we're not privy to all the stuff that's going on behind closed doors until way later.
Exactly. And that's why I'm not getting. So there's a lot of speculation right now that the reason that, because usually the FBI is not going to roll in like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is unprecedented. Even with all like the Richard Nixon stuff, like something like this did not happen, and a lot of people. A lot of people are speculating that he took a ton of top secret and classified documents, and a lot of the information about like our nuclear capabilities and launch codes and stuff were in there.
Wait, what word?
Nuclear.
You say nuclear?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
I thought it was nuclear.
Either way, I've heard it both ways. Who was it? It was
nuclear. I've heard it that way before too.
Nuclear. It was. I'm trying to remember how. What was it? George W. Bush, he had the weirdest way of saying it. I might have been channeling him subconsciously. He was like nuclear. I can't remember how he said it. Anyhow, but I I don't know. I mean, the thing about Trump is he's always been a grifter. He's always done like kind of it's always been like kind of like white collar shit, like white collar crimes, and he's always been able to just throw money at it and like, okay, I did this, but like we'll settle out of court, go away.
Can I just say that whether these FBI investigation is justified or not, that's beside the point.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not even. I just think it's funny.
So I think, again, justified or not, he's being investigated by the FBI again. I think if you're a Dem, you shouldn't be looking at this and be like, ha ha ha, he's finally getting his comeuppance.
Oh, he's probably not.
I think if you're a Dem, you should be shitting yourself, because the people that support Trump are going to get much more like fervent incensed. So not incest. Well, incest.
No, that too.
Probably too. But I mean, they're going to get like the people that are like genuine Trump supporters are going to get more like riled up. Like, hey, what you're going after my dude again, and it's going to make. I think it's a bad move. I think if it is a left-right move, this whole
but it's not like so. But
maybe not.
No, but Mondo, this is what I'm saying. This is all separate from the political parties. It's like it's the FBI. They don't.
You're saying FBI is are you saying that the FBI is bipartisan? Isn't partisan?
Yeah, they're supposed to be.
Sure. So is every
well, and just
justice of the court and all this, but.
Well, no, and
come on.
Honestly though, to be realistic though, like if you're talking about the actual like political biases of people in the FBI, they're probably a lot more conservative leaning than anything.
Maybe
that has been kind of borne out from everything we've seen. The sort of person who like is like, yeah, like I want to go in the FBI, and like that's just the reality of it. Again,
we should get. Here's another one we could call. We could call Mark Neria. See, if we had a producer, get our Lancer brother Mark Neary on the phone. We want to hear, because he's in the FBI. Is
he really? I didn't know that.
Yes, dude. Real quick tangent. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, so I was in Las Vegas for something, and Mark was living in somewhere in Nevada, and he's like, "Hey man, I hear you're in town. You want to come hang out?" So we went and hung out. Motherfucker's in the middle of a casino, and pulls up his leg pant whatever. Pant leg, and he's got a fucking gun at his ankle. I'm like, dude, are you not like afraid of like having a gun in a casino? You not scared that the security's gonna get? He's like, dude, I'm FBI. What the fuck are they gonna do? I'm like, baller. Fuck yeah, you're right. You're FBI. What the fuck are they gonna do? They're a private company. He's law enforcement. Like they could fucking eat a dick. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, he's an FBI agent. What's up, Narc? We've talked about two of the fourth lineage guys today, because Mark Neria is Zach Steckline's big brother.
Wow.
Whoa, this happens to be a fourth lineage episode.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm just saying left, right, up, down, black, white, red, blue. I think the Dems or the Democratic Party should not like look at this like, haha, we got. It should be like, oh,
I don't think anyone is, because nothing's happened. Like
dude, trust me, there are people that are thinking that. Just as
if people are thinking that, they are just willfully ignoring, because like remember, like he's been impeached twice, he's been like there's been all this other shit.
Yeah.
To expect that anything will come from this is kind of silly in the context of everything that's already happened. More than anything, it's just like I said, I literally have a picture of him throwing a McDonald's Big Mac against a wall, and I was like, that's kind of funny.
Well, let's see what happens in 2024 when, if and when decides to run, or
he's going to,
or one of his spawn decide to take office somewhere. You never know. Politics is a fucking weird thing.
Indeed.
So yeah, there's my thoughts and Aaron's thoughts on Mr. Yellowhead Orange Face's raid. Let's see what some Redditors think, and I'm sure some of these answers are gonna be super long, so I'll try to just read the shorty ones. User NoFork77 writes, everyone should be held to the same standards. If Trump broke the law with verifiable evidence, he should be punished accordingly. Edit, there are more than a few responses bringing up Hillary and other Dems and their wrongdoing. I said everyone, and I meant it. This is not a partisan issue. By all means, bring them to the trial as well. Pretty well said. User Pythagoras Hat writes, no, sorry, that's Pythagor Ass Hat. That's how they just spelled it all one long word. The funniest shit to happen on Twitter in a long time. MTG calling to defund the FBI is 10 out of 10 golden content. What's MTG?
I think that's a politician.
Magic the Gathering?
Yep. That's it. It's Magic the Gathering.
Calling to defund the FBI is a 10 out of 10.
I'm assuming that is a conservative politician who is now called to defund the FBI.
Sure. Last one I will read. User Toklog writes, I try not to put much mental energy into these matters until it's all done.
Yeah.
Save me some possible headache.
I agree with that guy too.
Awesome.
That was my I got as far as dude, that's kind of funny, and then didn't really think about it too much more.
Well, if Mr. Orangeface did something bad, get him for what he's done bad. But if this is a second investigation on him in the past, however, 3-4 years, fucking leave the guy alone. If you want to find dirt on him, you would have already found it. Just leave the fucking idiot alone.
But that is they do keep finding things though. It's not like they're doing all this and not finding anything. But all that said, if you want to be left alone, probably don't be president. That's generally a bad move. If you're guys, I just would like my personal space. I don't want people in my business. Don't become president of the United States.
All right. That was it for Reddit question number 1. Reddit question number 2. Guys. I like how they wrote down guys.
Guys.
Hey, guys. Not girls. Guys.
Just guys.
Imagine that you are the last male person on Earth. Women will still remain.
Well,
what will you do?
What happened to all the other men?
I don't know.
Well, so first, Mondo, you're dead. So I'm moving into your apartment.
Okay. My apartment? You could move anywhere.
No,
and you're going to move into my apartment?
Just your apartment.
Silly.
And I'm rearranging. I'm not even taking your fight posters down. I'm just rearranging the order.
They're not in any particular order, I don't think.
I know.
Do I have
I'm going to put them in a particular order. That's step number 1
All right,
on the agenda. Very important things to do. I mean, yeah, I could live anywhere. There's going to be huge vacant mansions coming right here, Mondo.
Silly rabbit.
I feel like this question is a little bit of a trap where it's they're like, okay, tell us all your weird male fantasies about orgies with a bunch of women. That is kind of what they're setting up, or is that just the way I interpret it?
I think so. I think it's what kind of nasty shit would you be doing? Is this not every single guy that's ever been a guru or of some kind of thing, all these dudes that end up being like a cult leader of some sort, all of them end up fucking all their people, all their followers, and they make it okay, it's okay because if you fuck me, you get to heaven or whatever.
God's divinity has transferred into my dick, and I need to transfer it unto you.
Yeah. Would you start a cult?
Would
You'd
I
be the only dude.
So
you could start a church, the church of me. Look at me, my dick.
So I wish we knew a little bit more, right? Because what led to all the men dying, and is repopulating an option, or if you just have more more kids, are they gonna
all be women?
Yeah, exactly. Can we get more men back into the picture?
It's like a zombie virus that kills off all the dudes, but you have some weird mutation in your skin and or DNA that makes you the only male with functioning testicles.
So you know what? I think repopulating is an option then, because then I could pass that special DNA trait down. So here's the thing. Mondo, I don't think I have time to go one by one, right? We need some men back on Earth, right? I need people to watch UFC fights with.
Yeah, dude, imagine
right? And I don't want to just watch the strawweight division and the flyweight division.
There would only be WNBA. We'd be fucking bored out of our minds. Good God, where are the fucking slam dunks? God damn it! So holy shit.
Exactly. I mean, so I need to get men back. So going one by one, like one nut, one baby, Mono, that's not gonna cut it. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna my full-time job is just going to be sperm samples.
I was going to say your napkins, the or whatever you use to wipe down with would be fucking the most the most rare meteor. The value of a napkin full of your load would be $1 bajillion.
And I think this is going to get a little exhausted. Even because we've talked about this before. Even in my younger days, I was like not like a multiple times a day masturbator. No, sir.
I had my phase of like, yeah.
I think like a couple times I did. I'm like, no, that's enough. The one was fine. So, really, I'm probably gonna have to go on TRT, get that testosterone flowing to the max. I'm sure there's like special like teas and shit that are gonna come out of the woodwork. Or like, yes, this is gonna increase your sperm count.
On the other hand, dude, imagine being the only dude. Like, I'm sure you'd have like, I'm sure there'd be a lot of women out there that'd be okay with you like being one of your many women, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's chicks that are okay with like that's okay. You can have multiple wives. Like, look at the Mormons. They all do that shit. But can you imagine having to answer to all these women like, where have you been last night? I went fishing. No, you didn't come in. God damn.
Oh no, I can completely imagine that, Mondo. Do you remember I was a coach where I was one male coach and there were like 30. So it was not that exact same dynamic.
Because you weren't boning him, I don't think.
But I also wouldn't be in this scenario.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It would be that was the
It sounds desirable, but I think you'd go crazy. I think you'd go crazy.
But that's why I think I'm specially suited for that, because I already had a little like a dry run. I was in that dynamic where I'm like, oh, it's just me and just a bunch of girls, and everything that I do wrong will be talked about, repeated, and magnified back at me, and you just have to like go like Buddhist monk mode where you're just like, I am a leaf on the wind. Nothing troubles me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think on the one hand it would be kind of cool to like be able to bang as much and as many times and as often.
I don't think.
But on the other hand,
I think they're
well, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So for all the good that would happen, it'd be like that much. Everything that sucks about being a guy would be magnified tenfold. Like, yeah, I mean everything you can possibly think of.
I think you have to play super nice. Or have you ever seen like those cows on that are hooked up to like milking machines on a farm? if you don't, if you don't, you're outnumbered like 4 billion to 1. So if you don't play really nice, you're gonna end up like that cow in a milking machine.
I think that's what women would do. Is they would strap you to some fucking hospital bed with just some fucking siphon on your cock, just like pulling semen continuously and you would just be strapped in like a mental patient, like with like the fucking guy from Clockwork Orange with the shit over your eyes, and you're just like, God damn it, I thought this would be cool being the last guy, but no, secretly women would fuck you over,
maybe
destroy your life.
Maybe they're the kinder, gentler sex, so maybe they can put you in some sort of medically induced coma, so you don't even know. You're just imagine. Oh, you know what, Mondo? This
like
is
virtual.
No, this
reality?
is the end game. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah,
but instead of living in just like the mundane world when he was Mr. Anderson, you in the women's Matrix, like the guy's just thinks he's fucking, and meanwhile in the real world they're just collecting sperm samples over and over and over again.
God damn.
That's it. That's how it works. Instead of a battery to power electricity, you're a cock battery.
Let's see what some of the Redditors have had to say. User J for Work 21 learned that even if you were the last man on Earth, sayings were pretty true.
Sure, bud.
User Suvinpan writes, "Ask government to declare me exotic."
Okay.
All right.
I think we put a lot more thought into it than
the user the man with none writes, "Hide behind my wife."
Well, see, he's smart. He understands the ramifications of and what will become of him if the rest of the women can get to him. So I guess he thinks his wife is going to protect him somehow.
Last one I'll read. User Packet63 writes, "Dig 3 blocks down and place one above myself." What? Yeah, you know what? You can't ask guys to respond to a question like that, because then they're going to respond with dumb answers. I think
apparently.
I think Aaron's and my answers are better than all these fucking dum-dums on Reddit. Anyway,
Yeah, it is kind of funny how literally and seriously we took that question. We're working through all the nuances.
Because we're smart. I am so smart. SMRT. Okay, we're about 45 minutes in, but we're gonna wrap up the episode with Binge and Purge, where we
Yeah.
review a TV show or movie. Right now, we are going to discuss The Sandman.
That last part where Mondo looks like he's deep throating the microphone.
I'm not deep throating. I'm moving my tongue around.
Okay.
That
was not part of the title though. That's what I was trying to say.
No, the tongue thing was not part of it.
It's just the Sandman, not the rest of it.
Yeah. Disregard the tongue thing. I heard of the Sandman via it being a comic book or anime or graphic novel or something. I've heard of it. I've seen it many, many, many years ago, but it was never a thing I read. It was never a thing I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I knew it was semi-popular when it was out, or even if it's still in print. I don't know that answer, but when I first heard about it like 20, 30 years ago, I was like, oh, but people are into this shit. It just never piqued my interest. And last week I was talking to Aaron via text or some shit, and I was like, hey man, by the way, I started the Sandman. It's pretty good. And I didn't think you're going to get around to watching it, but what are your...
So first of all, it is not just a comic book. It is a comic book written by Neil Gaiman, if you're familiar with him.
Sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar?
Because he's done a whole bunch of stuff. So there was a show called American Gods that was based off of a book that he wrote. I believe the show... what was it? There's an Amazon Prime show... I think called Good Omens. I think that was also based on something he did. He is prolific. He's done a lot of stuff, and you're correct. This is a comic book that he wrote quite a while ago, and it was thought to be unfilmable. Mm-hmm. Like you just couldn't make it into a I think they're probably right. I don't think you could make this into a movie because this is a very strange story that goes all over the place. Mm-hmm. But first of all, do you think, at least as far as you've gotten into it, that they made this into like a coherent narrative that you can follow and watch in a streaming series?
So far, yes. So far, again, having not been exposed to the comic books, like the stuff that they're trying to explain makes sense to me, and they essentially, the part that I'm still kind of trying to draw, like connect the dots, is how these siblings, mm-hmm. how their interpersonal drama with each other, like how that's supposed to play out. Like, what is that?
Okay, so first to set up the story a little bit, just so the listeners know what we're talking about. The basic premise, and I guess the main character, I didn't think he was going to be the MC, is like the Lord of Dreams. Like, they don't call them gods, they call them endless, but they're these sort of superhuman beings, and the siblings were, what was it? It was like dreams, death, desire,
despair.
And despair. And maybe there was one or two more.
Yeah.
But the series starts with, Dream, or Morpheus, who's the main character. And to describe him, he looks like the gay best friend in like every 90s rom-com if somehow he sounded like James Earl Jones. He has a confusingly deep voice for me.
Yeah.
Because he's a very like he's got a kind of thin, angular face, kind of like what was the actor from Dune? Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy
Chalamet. Exactly. He's not quite as fair as Timothy, but he's got that general look to him. And then when he talks, he's like, "I'm Dream," and you're like, "Whoa, well, what the fuck was that?"
Yeah. He's got a deep voice. It's almost like one of those voices that if you heard him long enough in like some weird ASMR, like he could put you to sleep. He could probably put you to sleep.
Which is funny. I this is not a commentary in the show, but more on how tired I've been this last week. I would have gotten a lot farther, but I think I've fallen asleep probably like 7 or 8 times trying to watch this.
Really?
Yeah, the first episode, I was into it. I was just really tired, and I fell asleep like 5 minutes into it. And then the next night, I fell asleep 15. So it was like the third time trying to watch the first episode before I finally saw it. And that's happened like a couple more times since.
Maybe it's his voice.
Could be. He just puts you to sleep. But the show starts with him going into the human world to basically retrieve a rogue nightmare that has been running amok in the real world.
He has his own kingdom that he runs.
Yeah, he's got a little Alice in Wonderland vibe to it.
Yeah.
And he's going into the human world, and he gets captured by, what do they call him, the Magus?
Yeah, he's some sort of like human wizard guy.
Yeah. A lot of this has very Lovecraftian vibes, right? Like Dream, he wears a helm. They call it a helm, but it kind of, the way I'd look at it, it's sort of like a
like plague doctor mask, kind of like a gas mask.
It's like a mix between a plague doctor mask, Ant-Man's mask. 'Cause it does have like big bug eyes, and then like dinosaur bones.
Dinosaur bones, almost also kind of like one of them old school gas masks. So it's kind of like a weird hybrid between all that shit. Yeah, there's like bones on it, kind of.
And anyhow, he gets captured and imprisoned by this Magus, and then like his special like tools.
He's got three items that are like that give him his magical powers. One of which is the helmet that Aaron mentioned. Another one is like a ruby or it's a ruby, right?
Yeah, that's been crafted into an amulet.
And then the third one is his sand, which he keeps like in a bag. And using these three things, he's able to move between his world and then people's dreams in our world, I guess, if you want to call it that. And he's got different powers with him and weird shit. And
so he gets captured. He's imprisoned in this fucking dude's basement for like 100 years. And meanwhile, without the Lord of Dreams, things are getting screwed up in the human world because people's sleep's getting all screwed up. Like the dream world is falling apart. It's a whole thing. And then the first bit of the show, the first half, I guess, is him, finally escaping and then going on this like quest to retrieve his items and fix the damage that has been caused to the dream world.
Yeah, so the nightmare he was after is named the Corinthian, and so that Corinthian is running amok in our world, and there's like some kind of disease that went on, or we called it a disease because we didn't know how to describe it. People were dying in their sleep, so they just thought it was some kind of weird like sleep disease thing, but it turns out to be this nightmare called the Corinthian, who's a person, he's personified, who's going into people's dreams and fucking killing them and shit, and they don't wake up, and so, yeah.
So, I love the imagery in the show.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the strongest part.
Very, very good production. Very.
There was I can't think of one part where the special effects were distracting from what was going on. Mm-hmm. I think most of the time it really added to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's well acted, like you said, well produced. I so far though, I do feel like the show is a little bit uneven in two places.
Okay.
One, it is like a very serious, dark show most of the time. Which is cool. It's a cool vibe. Like I said, very Lovecraftian, supernatural. But then when they do try to interject comedy into it, it sometimes feels really weird to me.
Yeah, it feels out of place. It feels like it doesn't belong here, but okay, I see what you guys did.
And the one part where I was like, okay, I'm going to just choose to not worry about this is he being the Lord of Dreams is always accompanied by a raven, because I guess ravens are supposed to be able to fly from the human world into the dream world and back and ever. And his first raven is killed while he's trying to escape. So he gets a second raven, and then it's just fucking Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
I was like, what? This is so weird. Why?
So that's when Patton Oswalt tries to interject some of the comedic, the humor stuff to it. But, I don't know. It's hard to find, because his voice, it's just hard to find Patton Oswalt ever being serious. So even in those scenes where he's supposed to be kind of serious and like he's dropping F-bombs and shit, it's kind of like,
it's like, all right, Ratatouille, like back the fuck off. This is not the time for this.
Ratatouille. Oh man.
That was distracting to me a little bit. I mean, like I said, there's such a serious vibe to it, and then you get all of a sudden like Patton Oswalt making like weird, silly jokes. Okay, fine. And the second part is. This is sort of a serial show where it's like one episode builds off the next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then there's just these kind of like episodic parts where you're like it's not directly connected to the story. It's sort of like a little offshoot of the story. And the part that was most confusing, without too many spoilers, I thought the whole show was going to be him trying to regain his magical items, and it was going to be really hard, and there's going to be setbacks. And for the most part, it was super easy. And then like halfway through the show, I mean, it was interesting watching it. I think it was a good journey. But halfway through the show, he's got them all back. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, where are they going with this shit? It turns out they start sprinkling things in about like his siblings,
and just to be clear, so that's as far as I've gotten.
Okay, so I won't go any further, but basically, we mentioned his siblings being death and desire and all these other fucking whatever.
Horniness. I think that's there's the sixth sibling.
Okay, so now the story, progresses with him like traveling to these other siblings and like there had to have been some kind of plot. Like it almost felt like there was him being captured was part of a bigger setup, something else was going on. Something's not quite at face value.
Well, and they have set that up a little bit in terms of, because they do tell you in the beginning they weren't actually trying to capture him.
Yes, they were trying to capture death.
Exactly, and then you gotta imagine that there was some fuckery. There was some little shiftiness by the siblings that led to him being imprisoned.
Yeah, so
that would be my guess.
That's kind of where.
So I guess you're a little bit ahead of me. So is there a mystery element that starts to unfold?
Sort of, kind of, not really. Again, each episode sprinkles in things that you connect through the episodes.
It sprinkles it in like sand.
Like sand. But yeah, the siblings you eventually meet are each equally as strange and curious as Dream is. Like think about it. You're the king of the dreams, and you're some weird dude with a baritone voice, and he's got like punk rock hair and shit. Like, and then you meet these other siblings, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're literally personifying, like death is personifying death, and how does death feel about themselves as being the the person that kills, or not kills, but carries people to the next life or next phase, whatever you want to call it. And does death feel justified in what he or she, like, their role? Like, does death think they're doing evil things, or do they think they're doing like good things? Like, it's weird, interesting storytelling. It's pretty well acted.
Well, and just to touch on the cast, because it's funny. The main actor, Tom Surridge. I didn't know him from anything before, but there's a lot of people that I'm like recognizing left and right. So like Gwendolyn Christie, isn't it?
From Game of Thrones, she played Brienne of Tarth, the big night woman chick.
Yeah, we already mentioned
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, correct. What's his name? Remus Lupin from Harry Potter. I forget the actor's name.
I don't know who that is.
He's in it. He's done a ton of stuff. He's the one that played I'm forgetting the character's name. The son who had the ruby.
Oh yeah, his name is
John Lee, right?
His name is the actor's name is David Thewlis, and I know who you're talking about. If you've seen him, again, I've not seen the Harry Potter one. That's why I couldn't make the connection. But yeah, I've seen that actor in a bunch of other shit. He's a phenomenal actor, and he kind of plays this weird, conflicted, like good, evil, mostly evil kind of. You know what I mean? Like, he's a weird character, but the actor does a very good job.
He's got a little Thanos in him, where he's like, it's for the greater good.
Yep,
that sort of deal.
For sure.
Apparently, Mark Hamill's in this. I haven't seen him yet. Stephen Fry. I mean, there's a long cast, and yeah, I think it was definitely well acted, although very strange.
Very strange. I didn't watch or read the comic books or graphic novels or whatever, so I don't know how good or how well they because sometimes when you watch a movie or a book, when they get to like when they make it to film, they fucking ruin the original. Like they don't do it justice. And so I don't know if it's doing the original stuff justice or not, or if they're kind of sometimes making it for TV or for show. And
I mean, I think that's all separate though. We can evaluate this as, as its own thing.
I did read one, the clickbaity title where like so many people are incensed about the Sandman show that it's not doing the book justice. I didn't bother to go in and actually read the article and what they're saying that they're pissed off about.
You know how I know it's clickbait? Because not that many people have read the fucking comic book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like
it's like 5 guys in like London are like, "Oi, motherfucker!"
No, I do think a lot of people have read it, but it just
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, having not read it,
that was hyperbole, Mondo.
Having not read it, the show to me does a good job. Like completely being brand new to me. It's a new world, new plot, new way of storytelling. I enjoyed it. I think I'm like on episode 7 or 8. So there's 10 episodes in the series in this season. I don't know if they're gonna do season 2, season 3, all that, but so far so good. I'd say binge for sure, but I'd give it like a 7. So it's not like where I'm dying to see the next episode, but I still want to finish the season.
That's about where I'm at, and if you can binge it, you're better than I, because I tried to binge it so I could be done, and I kept falling asleep, which is whatever. There isn't a word for the opposite of irony, but if there was, that's what that would be. Just trying to binge the Sandman and then falling asleep over and over and over again.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it for Binge and Purge, and that was it for the episode, more or less and less. Aaron, do you have anything else you want to add?
You know what? I have tons of stuff to add, but I don't think we got time for all that. So let us end the episode.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you like the new little element of the Florida Man theme song / video thing. We'll try to do more of those things to add them to the episodes so that those people that are actually watching it can get a little kind of extra little bonus enjoyment. Thanks for listening. Thanks for